You don't need more discipline. You don't need more motivation. What you need is to stop treating your life like a war you're losing. Here's the truth. No one tells you. Strength isn't built by grinding harder. It's built by knowing which struggles are worth your energy and which are designed to drain you. I have seen warriors destroy themselves trying to win unwinnable battles. The warrior mindset isn't about being tougher. It's about being smarter with your spirit. If you're tired of feeling defeated, this video will show you why your approach has been backwards. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. You're watching this because something inside you is tired. Tired of forcing. Tired of fighting invisible battles. Tired of being told that strength looks like clenched fists and sleepless nights. The world has sold you a version of power that's actually poison. One that says vulnerability is weakness, rest is laziness, and asking for help is defeat. Here's the myth I'm dismantling today, that the warrior mindset is about domination and relentless aggression. That's not warriorship. That's self-destruction wearing armor. This video will show you the counterintuitive truth I learned on actual battlefields. The strongest position is often the one that looks like surrender. The most unshakable people aren't the ones who never bend. They're the ones who know exactly when to bend so they don't break. What you'll gain here isn't a louder voice or a harder exterior. You'll learn how to stop hemorrhaging energy on battles that don't serve you. How to recognize when your strength is just fear in disguise. And most importantly, how to build an inner fortress so solid that external chaos can't rattle it. This isn't motivation. This is a complete reframe of what power actually means. And once you see it through the eyes of someone who lived and died by strategy, you'll never waste your strength the same way again. Let me take you back to a moment that changed how I understood strength forever. There was a general under my command, brilliant tactician, undefeated in 17 consecutive battles. People spoke his name with reverence. Other generals studied his movements. He was the kind of warrior songs are written about. But something happened to him that I've seen happen to so many people who taste success. He became obsessed with his record. Every single decision he made was filtered through one question: will this preserve my streak? He started choosing only battles he knew he could win. He turned down critical missions because they carried risk. He avoided conflicts that mattered because they might tarnish his reputation. His strength, the very thing that made him legendary, had become his prison. One day, a smaller force provoked him. They insulted his honor, mocked his army, did everything they could to draw him out. And it was obvious bait. Any seasoned warrior could see it from a mile away. The terrain was wrong. The timing was suspicious. Everything about it screamed trap. But his pride couldn't tolerate the insult. He couldn't let a smaller, weaker force disrespect him and walk away. So, he engaged. And he walked straight into an ambush that cost him half his army and nearly his life. The lesson devastated him, but it saved his life. He came to me after he recovered, and I'll never forget what he said. He looked at me with this exhaustion in his eyes and said, "I thought I was being strong by never losing. But I was actually weak. I was fighting to protect an image, not to serve a purpose." That's when he became truly dangerous. Not because he won more battles after that, but because he stopped fighting battles designed to flatter his ego. He learned the difference between being undefeated and being unbreakable. Being undefeated means you're terrified of losing. Being unbreakable means you're not defined by outcomes anymore. You do this too. You fight battles just to prove you can. Arguments you don't care about. Standards that exhaust you. Relationships that drain you. Not because they matter, but because losing them would feel like admitting weakness. You stay in jobs that kill your spirit because quitting feels like failure. You keep trying to win over people who will never respect you because walking away feels like surrender. You push yourself to exhaustion because rest feels like laziness. The warrior mindset begins when you stop protecting your record and start protecting your energy. When you stop asking, "Can I win this?" and start asking, "Does this even matter?" But how do you know which battles are worth it? That's where the second story gets interesting. Imagine a mountain and a river. The mountain is solid, immovable, proud. It stands against every storm and says, "I will not bend. I will not break. I am strength itself." The river is soft, humble, always moving. When it meets a rock, it doesn't fight. It doesn't try to prove it's stronger. It just flows around. It finds another path. It keeps moving. 1,000 years pass. The mountain is still standing, but it's been worn down, cracked by ice, scarred by wind, pieces of it scattered in the valleys below. It's smaller than it used to be, weaker, still proud, but diminished. The river? The river carved a canyon. It shaped the entire landscape. It moved mountains by never trying to fight them. It won by being patient, by being persistent, by being wise enough to work with reality instead of against it. This isn't just poetry. This is the core of the warrior mindset. The mountain represents rigid strength, the kind we're taught to admire. Never compromise, never retreat. Stand your ground no matter what. Die on every hill. It looks impressive. It sounds inspiring. But rigidity is fragility in disguise. When life applies enough pressure, rigid things shatter. They crack. They break. And when they break completely. The river represents adaptive strength, the kind that actually lasts. It doesn't waste energy, fighting what it can't change. It finds another path. And over time, it wins not by force, but by persistence and intelligence. Ask yourself right now, are you the mountain, slowly breaking under the weight of your own stubbornness? Or are you learning to be the river, soft enough to adapt, patient enough to persist, wise enough to go around what you can't go through? This is the shift. From believing strength is about being immovable, to understanding strength is about being unmovable in purpose, but flexible in approach. Your purpose, your values, your core, that's unmovable. But your methods, your tactics, your timeline, those can flow like water. Now let me break down exactly what this looks like in your actual life. These are the principles that separate warriors from people who just fight a lot. Here's what breaks most people. They try to control everything, which means they actually control nothing. You can't control what other people think. Can't control the economy, the weather, whether someone texts you back, whether you get the promotion, whether people like you. But you exhaust yourself trying. You lie awake at night replaying conversations, trying to figure out what you could have said differently. You obsess over other people's perceptions, trying to manage how they see you. You micromanage every detail of your life, trying to eliminate uncertainty, and it's killing you. The warrior mindset flips this. You release control over externals so you can deepen control over internals. Your thoughts, your reactions, your energy allocation, your standards for yourself. These are your kingdom. Everything else? Let it be what it is. This doesn't mean giving up. It doesn't mean becoming passive or apathetic. It means choosing your battles with surgical precision. When you stop trying to control the uncontrollable, you suddenly have enormous energy for what actually matters. Most people are weak because they're fighting 100 battles. They're trying to control their boss's mood, their partner's feelings, their friends' opinions, the traffic, the political climate, what strangers think about them online. They spread themselves so thin that they have no real power anywhere. The warrior is strong because they're fighting 3 battles and winning all of them. They know exactly where their energy goes, and they protect it like their life depends on it, because it does. In battle, the side that panics first loses, always. I saw this over and over and over again. 2 armies, relatively equal in strength, facing each other. The one that kept their composure, that moved with intention instead of desperation, that stayed calm under pressure, they won. Not because they were better fighters, but because panic makes you stupid. Panic is just fear moving faster than your wisdom. When you panic, you can't see clearly. You can't think strategically. You make mistakes that cost you everything. The warrior mindset trains you to find stillness even in chaos. Not because you're calm by nature. Most warriors aren't. But because stillness is a tactical advantage. When everyone around you is reactive, rushing, emotionally hijacked, you become the person who sees clearly, who waits for the right moment, who doesn't mistake activity for progress. I've watched people destroy their lives not because they were lazy, but because they couldn't sit still long enough to figure out what they actually needed to do. This is why meditation isn't soft, why rest isn't weakness, why patience isn't passive. They're the sharpest weapons you have. They let you act from clarity instead of desperation. They let you respond instead of react. They let you see the trap before you walk into it. If you're always moving, always hustling, always reacting, you're not strong. You're just scared of what might happen if you stop. The warrior stops, observes, waits, then strikes once, decisively. Stillness isn't the absence of action. It's the foundation for right action. Your greatest opponent isn't your rival, your critic, your circumstances. It's the part of you that's afraid of being seen as weak. That's the voice that won't let you rest, won't let you ask for help, won't let you admit when you're wrong, or scared, or tired. It disguises itself as strength. It says, keep going. Don't be lazy. Don't be soft. Don't let them see you struggle. But it's actually the thing that's killing you. It's the enemy within. And it's far more dangerous than any external threat. The warrior mindset requires you to turn and face this inner enemy. To say, I see you. I know you're trying to protect me. I know you think if I show any weakness, I'll be destroyed. But you're the one I need protection from. True strength is being honest about your limitations. Saying I don't know. Saying I need help. Saying I can't do this alone. These aren't admissions of weakness. They're demonstrations of self-awareness, which is the foundation of all real power. The person who pretends to have no limits will eventually shatter. They'll have a breakdown, a burnout, a collapse, because you can only pretend for so long. The person who knows and respects their limits becomes almost limitless because they're not wasting energy maintaining a facade. They're not fighting themselves. They're working with who they actually are, and that alignment creates power you can't fake. Surrender has a terrible reputation. We think it means giving up, admitting defeat, letting someone else win. But strategic surrender is one of the most powerful moves available. Sometimes, the strongest thing you can do is let go. Let go of the argument, the grudge, the need to be right, the relationship that's become toxic, the job that's draining your soul, the dream that's no longer yours. This isn't weakness, it's tactical genius. You're refusing to pour your finite energy into an infinite whole. You're choosing to lose a battle you don't care about so you can win the war that actually matters. I've watched warriors die defending positions that meant nothing. Pride killed them, not the enemy. They stayed in fights they should have abandoned because walking away felt like losing, and so they lost everything. Don't let that be you. Ask, is this hill worth dying on? If the answer isn't a clear yes, retreat, regroup, redirect your energy somewhere it multiplies instead of evaporates. Strategic surrender is how you stay in the fight long enough to win. It's how you preserve your strength for battles that actually matter. The hardest lesson for most people is this: softness is not weakness, rigidity is. Compassion isn't soft. Forgiveness isn't soft. Vulnerability isn't soft. They require more courage than any armor ever could, because they require you to stay open even when staying open hurts. The warrior mindset doesn't teach you to build walls. It teaches you to build resilience. Walls crack. Resilience bends and returns. This means being kind even when you're angry, being curious even when you're certain, being gentle with yourself even when you've failed. These aren't weaknesses. They're the actions of someone so secure in their strength that they don't need to prove it. The most dangerous warriors I ever knew were the ones who could cry, who could apologize, who could love deeply and lose and love again, because they weren't afraid of their own humanity. And that made them unstoppable. When you're not afraid of your own heart, when you're not afraid of feeling, you become someone no external force can truly break. So how do you actually live this? Let me give you the practical steps. Every morning, ask yourself, what am I trying to control that I can't? Write down 3 things. Could be other people's opinions, the outcome of a project, whether someone forgives you. Then consciously release them. Say out loud, I release my need to control this. This isn't giving up. It's freeing your energy for what you actually can influence, your effort, your attitude, your response. Do this every single day and watch how much lighter you feel. At any given time, you're allowed 3 battles. That's it. 3 areas of your life where you're actively pushing, struggling, building, fighting. Everything else? Maintenance mode? Autopilot. Good enough. Why? Because you're human. You have finite energy. When you fight 10 battles, you lose all 10. When you fight 3, you win 3. Write your 3 battles down right now. Maybe it's your health, your primary relationship, and a work project. Everything else gets a gentle, not right now. This single rule will transform your life. Before you react to anything that triggers you, email, comment, criticism, conflict, pause for 3 breaths. Literally count them. In that pause, ask, is this reaction serving my strength or my fear? Most of the time, your first reaction is fear dressed up as strength. It's your ego trying to protect itself. The pause lets you find the response that actually comes from power. This single practice will change your relationships, your career, your inner peace. Because the warrior isn't the fastest to react, they're the wisest. Every week, ask yourself these questions. What battle did I fight that wasn't mine? Where did I confuse rigidity with strength? When did I surrender strategically, and how did it feel? What's one way I was soft this week, and did it make me weaker or stronger? Write it down. Review it. This is how you train the warrior mindset, not through intensity, but through honest reflection. This is how you evolve. Let's bring this home. You came here because some part of you knew the way you've been taught to be strong isn't working. It's exhausting you, making you brittle, turning your life into a series of battles you're not even sure you want to win. Here's what I need you to remember. The warrior mindset isn't about becoming harder. It's about becoming wiser. It's knowing which fights are yours and which are distractions. It's understanding that rest is strategy, that softness is courage, that surrender can be the boldest move you make. You are not weak for being tired. You're tired because you've been fighting the wrong wars. Starting today, you get to choose differently. I am not broken by bending. I am not weakened by rest. I am not defeated by choosing peace. I am the river, soft, persistent, unstoppable. I protect my energy like the warrior I am. Say that to yourself when you feel the old programming kick in, when you feel like you have to prove something, when rest feels like failure. You don't have to be the mountain anymore. You can be the river, and the river always wins. If this resonated with you, if something shifted while you were listening, let me know in the comments. Tell me, what battle are you ready to stop fighting? What does strength mean to you now? And if you want more of this, real wisdom, not just motivation, subscribe. This channel is for people who want to live powerfully without destroying themselves in the process. Hit that like button if this landed. It tells me you're ready for more truth. You're not here by accident. You're here because you're becoming something stronger than you've ever been. Now go be the river.